What's up, everyone? How we doing? So, what y'all think about the fit? First and foremost, decided to switch it up a bit, which really means I had to throw something on real fast for the stream. Give me 1 second. I'm wanting to make sure everything is golden. Let me see. What's up, everyone? All right, we're good. Just had to check it out. All right. So, if as you can see in the description, if you're looking at the description, if you're on uh, whoa, volume still up. So if you're on YouTube, you can see the description. It has been a slow, and I mean a very slow couple of weeks for me in terms of movies because of other things going on. I'm messing with some stuff, so just give me a chance here. um, but yeah, I've had some stuff going on. So I've had um a lot of stuff happening in terms of job and shift changes and stuff. I've had things going on with, you know, health stuff. So just like for instance, this past week, I've been fighting off stuff all week that I've planned live streams and it's like, "Oh, I can't do it tonight." It would just be unenjoyable for anybody to watch me do it. And it's just been something like that every time. And because of that, I also haven't been going to the movies the way I want to. So I'm behind. I think three. I'm behind on Madam Web. I gotta watch it, but I've been keeping track, and I've heard what they're saying about that one. So, but I definitely got to go check that one out. I missed. What else did I miss? I've missed a few, and right now they're slipping my mind. Let me check. I'm about to just look at it right here. I missed the Bob Marley movie. That's the other one. Um, what else is here? There's something else that I've missed. There's three. I'm pretty sure there's three that I'm behind on. You got Madam Web, Bob Marley. Oh, Drive Away Dolls, which is the Cohen brothers, come out today. Yeah, there's another one too, but I can't remember what it is. So I'm very behind. I've haven't completely stopped watching stuff. I have some stuff that I've been watching that you know like I did in January, I had my January recap where I just talked about everything I watched. That's not just new releases, but that's everything, whether it's rewatches of old films or first time watches of old films and stuff. I did it all. And so I definitely have some stuff in that category. But as of right now, I'm lacking on the new releases. So we'll see what happens. This has been a weird month. Um, yeah, it's been a very weird month. But aside from that, well, like I was saying, um, because of all the stuff that's going on, a lot of stuff that I've wanted to do has been pushed, like my Matthew Vaughn ranking, where Argyle come out, and he is the Kingsman guy, he had Stardust and stuff like that, and so I was going to do, I'm still going to do it, a Matthew Vaughn ranking and review where I just do all of his movies, and that's been pushed. So we'll see. I have a Cohen Brothers one, and I'm still catching up on Cohen Brothers films, and so I've got a few more Cohen Brothers movies to go, aside from Drive Away Dolls. So a lot of stuff is getting pushed, which is not fun. I don't like being behind, especially when it comes to movie stuff. I don't like being behind. So since all of that stuff is being pushed, I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna switch it up a little bit and just do because I wanted to do something. I was like, so you know what? Let's just talk news because there's been so much announced just this past month alone, and it's crazy. And so I've kind of got a catalog of a lot of the stuff that I've been keeping track on that I wanted to talk about. So let's jump right into it here. First off, we have so you got that your I'm gonna butcher his name that Lanthimos Yorgos Lanthimos. Have you say it? The poor things guy. He's got another movie coming out this year called Kinds of Kindness, and it's got Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe, Jesse Plemons, Margaret Qualley, a bunch of people, and that's coming out this year. That's one that I didn't even know about. It's definitely on my radar. Poor Things, it wasn't my favorite movie of last year. Wasn't even in my top 20, but it was interesting to say the least. I applaud the effort that went in, and I applaud the uniqueness. While it wasn't for me, I can still appreciate what it did, and so I'm definitely intrigued for that one. Let me see what else did we have. I'm just gonna kind of go through because I don't know how long I'm gonna go for. Oh yeah, here's another one. Quentin Tarantino's new movie. We've been hearing a lot about it. The movie critic. Apparently, Brad Pitt has been cast to star, and Tom Cruise is also circling to star in it. Um, that's got me super excited. I mean, it'll be the third time Brad Pitt worked with Tarantino, and as far as I think it's the first time for Cruise, and I'm super excited to see Tom Cruise get back into you know dramatic acting as opposed to just always being the guy who does stunts. It'd be cool to see him get back into dramatic stuff. And I did see and I think I have it on here, so I'll talk about it in a little bit. But he is planning on jumping back into more dramatic roles. And so yeah, the movie critic, I doubt that's the final name, but if even if it is, Tarantino, it's one of my most anticipated movies for the foreseeable future. I'm so excited for it. I don't even know anything about it other than now it's got Brad Pitt and possibly we'll have Tom Cruise. So let's see. Also for my horror people, this is a kind of just a blanket movie channel, but I really love horror and Batman. Those are like my two things. Um, and for all my horror people out there, confirmed. Hold up. Sneezes, man. Anyways, confirmed. A new Texas Chainsaw Massacre is in the works. Now, I don't know anything about this. I don't know if it's going to be another reboot, if they're going to be continuing off of the 2022 film, if they're going to continue again off of the Texas Chainsaw 3D, because that's kind of what you had. It's a funny franchise because you've got so many different timelines. You have the original four, you have the first movie, and then the first four movies they're in a line, and then you had the remake, and then the beginning, and then you had Texas Chainsaw 3D, which was kind of like it went back and did the requel thing, where it was a sequel to the original and started its own timeline, and then Leatherface 2017, which was a prequel to the original, but the original with the Texas Chainsaw 3D timeline. And then you had Texas Chainsaw 2022, which was again another requel where they erased the sequels, went back and was a sequel to the original 74 film. And so I don't know what this new one's going to be, if it's going to be a continuation off of that new one or if they're starting over again, or I don't know. I don't know anything. At this rate, I'd say just start over, or I don't know. I've heard that so one of the things, and I'm gonna see if it's got it right here. The only I did hear that it's supposedly supposed to take place in like a suburb. Um, it's gonna be like a gated community, and it's like a neighborly dispute, which is very weird to me. Um, Let me see. I don't think I have like notes here. I don't think it says it on here. Um, yeah, the working title right now is Texas Chainsaw Legacy. Yeah, ordinary families are pitted against the savage Sawyers in a harrowing battle for survival, where the lines between good and evil blur. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm always down. Leatherface is one of my favorite horror villains, even though I think he's got the wackiest franchise. The original 74 movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. And so I'm always down to get more, even though none of them quite live up to what I love about the original. We'll see. We'll see. I'm optimistic. You got Tarot, the new movie that's supposed to be coming out. I don't know anything about it. It's I think it's coming up pretty soon too. Um, if I can see it, looking here, I don't know if I have a date on here. I'll probably just pull it up real fast. Let's see if there's a release date yet. Oh, May. So it'll be in May. May 10th. Yeah, Tarot. Um, yeah, we'll see. I don't know anything about it. I'm just all for new horror being announced, and that's one of them for May. So if you're looking for a May 2024 release, there you go. I don't know who's in it or anything. And then tomorrow, this one I'm very excited about. So tomorrow, if you have Shutter, no, it's theatrical tomorrow in like select theaters, and then it goes to Shutter at a different date. The movie Stop Motion. This one is a really cool one for me. It's one of my most anticipated, or if it actually did in my updated most anticipated of the year list, it made it. Stop motion, a very cool looking film. I avoided the trailer. They released a full trailer and I didn't watch it because I don't want to spoil anything. It just looks really cool. Um, yeah, very unique and interesting. So definitely keep your eyes open. I think it's theatrical. It releases theatrically tomorrow, and then it'll be on Shutter in like a week or two or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, stop motion. We have an announced Evil Dead spinoff, which is supposed to have like a French. I think it's supposed to have like a French edge to it, which is very weird. Um, I think it was French. I can't see it right here. It doesn't say it. But yeah, it's directed by Sebastian Vanicek. Vanicek. Sorry for the name. Sorry for butchering the name, but yeah, Evil Dead spinoff, and I think it's got Sam Raimi's kind of company is doing is on boards with it. So he's directing it within Sam Raimi's kind of umbrella, which is always a good sign. You know, it's a good sign. We had Kevin again. These last names, man. Kevin Grutert. I don't know. He is returning to direct Saw 11. He did Saw X, and he's returning. That is really cool. Good stuff. I like that a lot. Um, Saw X was pretty great. It kind of came out of nowhere. I'm somebody I love the first two. I am okay on the third one. Four, five, and six are very hard to get through. Then you had like Jigsaw and the okay Spiral. I really enjoyed. It's one of my favorite movies of 21. Um, but yeah, it's a franchise that they're most of it's just okay. And then you had Saw X that come out, which a lot of people were saying it was their favorite of the franchise. It didn't quite hit that for me. It didn't beat Spiral for me, but I liked Spiral a lot more than most people did. But it was very good, very good. Some excellent effects. Putting Tobin Bell in the forefront was awesome, and yeah, it was very good and a nice breath of fresh air for the franchise. And now it's been confirmed that the director of Saw X is going to be coming back to do the next one, which is supposed to come out this year still. So we'll see. That quick turnaround kind of has me worried a little bit. Um, yeah, you got that. Let's see. See here. I post a lot of stuff, man. I think I think this one, I'm kind of talking to myself here. Yeah, Late Night with the Devil. When is that supposed to come out? That's coming up too, which is again made my most anticipated list. March. So it's next month. Late Night with the Devil. Yeah, made my most anticipated list. I think it looks awesome. Very excited about that one. Very excited. I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be really good. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. March 22nd for that one. They did release a full trailer. I didn't watch the trailer. Again, for most of the movies that I am excited for, I don't watch the trailer. I avoid, especially horror. I won't watch anything for a horror film, and so they'll release like a little teaser, like for instance, like the Long Legs teaser. They dropped the teaser for Long Legs, and it was under 60. It was like 50 seconds. I was like, okay, cool, and I watched it. Awesome, got me hyped. I don't need to see anything else, nothing else. And so that's how I've approached Late Night with the Devil too. And I'm excited. I think it looks awesome. I hope it lives up because it's one of my again made it's one of my most anticipated. Um, you had Killer or Kill, which is I think I want to make sure I get this right here. The Indian action film that come out at Fantastic Fest last year. Um, got super great reviews and a lot of positive feedback come out of Fantastic Fest. I didn't get to go, but I always like to keep track of you know how it goes. And this one was one that got a lot of positive feedback where it was like, yes, this is good. And it got its theatrical release in India for July 5th. And so I hope that it comes out. I hope it gets a states release this year. I'd like to see it. I'd love to see it around August or September. That'd be great. If I could get it around my birthday time, it'd be good stuff. So yeah, Kill. Be on the lookout for that one because as soon as it gets that American release date, I'm gonna be hyped. You know I'm gonna be there. Um, let's see. This is random, but do you know like Christian Bale is building a bunch of foster homes? Pretty cool. Completely random. Yeah, here, listen to this one. This one's pretty cool. So you had David Robert Mitchell. He's the director of It Follows, which I talked about. It Follows a little bit in my most anticipated video. Um, I like It Follows. It's not one of my favorites. It wasn't. I think it got too hyped up for me before I watched it because it was always in the you know best of the decade or best of the 21st century. I always heard that. And I watched it and was like, that was a little overhyped for me, but I enjoyed it. There's a lot of cool directorial stuff going on. And I talked about it, more in depth because you have They Follow supposed to be coming out either this year or next year. I don't know if it ever got a release date. But that director, that David Robert Mitchell, is helmed to direct a an 80s style dinosaur movie starring Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway. What? This is the kind of stuff when I say, when I make my most anticipated videos of the year list, this is the kind of stuff that I talk about when I say, it's subject to change. Or throughout the year, things will be announced and stuff that who knows, maybe my whole list will completely rearrange, and it kind of has. This is the kind of stuff right here where this has potential to jump up and be a most anticipated. Look, I love dinosaurs. I hate that we don't get any good dinosaur media. You know, I really really dislike the previous two Jurassic World movies. I didn't mind the first Jurassic World; it was fun. I had a good time with it. And then the Jurassic Park movies. The first one's iconic. The second one, I'm feel like I'm on an island, but I never really liked the second one. And then I feel like I'm even more on an island because I really liked the third one. I grew up with it as a kid. I loved the third one. And so, but there's just a very serious lack of dinosaur media. And so hearing this, that you have a horror director who's wanting to direct a dinosaur movie, and it's got two fantastic actors in Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway, let's go. That's the type of stuff that gets me excited. Um, they officially announced the cast for Fantastic Four, for Disney's, iteration of Fantastic Four, which is going to be Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Evan Moss Backrock. Have you said have you said the dude's name? Sorry. Um, yeah, look, I just don't care. That's kind of where I'm at now, and it sucks, but that's how it is. I really just don't care. Um, I've said it before on here that you know I won't go too in depth talking about MCU because I plan on doing a huge MCU video that I've already got everything set up. I'm just waiting for the time to do it, and I have a specific time in mind. Um, and so I don't want to talk too in depth because it's just spoiling that video. But look, I have certain feelings about the MCU, especially now, and I just find it hard to get excited for anything that they are announcing. That Fantastic Four. Look, I grew up with the original two movies. I loved them as a kid. I don't know if I was to revisit them now, how I'd feel. Um, that's kind of in that category of movies where I try to avoid them now because I don't want to taint my memory of them. Because it's like, oh, I loved them as a kid. Why rewatch it? That's kind of how I feel about Last Airbender. M Night Shyamalan. I grew up watching it as a kid and loved it, and so why rewatch it as an adult? Because I know I'm not gonna like it. I know it's gonna be bad. So why even do that? And so that's how I feel about the original Fantastic Four. And I watched Fan Four Stick, and look, I couldn't even tell you the first thing about it. I watched it. I remember watching it, and it was just in one ear and out the other. I guess you could say it was here today, gone tomorrow. I did not remember it at all. I left it, and it just left me with nothing. I was just like, okay, I watched it. Um, I have a few memories from it that I wish I didn't. But yeah, I hated Fan Four Stick, and then you have this new one. It's just like I have to wait and see what the MCU does going forward because you had Feige and Iger and everybody announcing, we're going to be focusing on quality over quantity now. We're better now. We've learned our lesson. You've had them saying this for the past year. And so until I see the results of these changes, quote unquote, that they've supposedly enacted, then I can't get excited for anything. Nothing that they're announcing excites me. Like I said about Deadpool when I did my Super Bowl tier list, my trailer tier list. Look, Deadpool, I hope it's good. I hope it's great, but I'm reluctantly pessimistic, and that's how I feel about everything Marvel going forward. And so I hope, and plus talking about Fantastic Four, I think to me it's hard to not feel like it's popularity casting. I mean, you have Pedro Pascal, who's like this one of the Hollywood sweethearts right now. Everybody loves him. You have Vanessa Kirby, who is hot off of some very big movies here just in the last year, and you have Joseph Quinn, who obviously everybody knows him as the guy who invented the worst song of whatever year Stranger Things come out. He didn't do it. I know he didn't invent it, but it got stuck in everybody's head. TikTok did it, and everybody hated it. But look, Joseph Quinn, I haven't seen him in anything else outside of the Stranger Things stuff, and but I don't know. We'll see. To me, I just have a bad feeling about the casting, and that it's just casting for popularity, and I have a bad feeling just it being Marvel, and it's like, what are you gonna do? I don't buy that they've changed. Like I said, I'll have to see it first. And I feel the same way about all of them. Look, I love Blade. Blade is, you know, if I was to do a top comic book films of all time, Blade's making my list. Blade 1 and 2. are probably gonna make my list. I love Blade, and I couldn't be less excited about Disney's Blade. I could not be less excited. Um, Before all the announcements of the problems going on behind the scenes, I mean, I was just like, "Really, Disney? MCU is doing it? Uh, this this is gonna be bad." And like I said, we'll have to see. And that's before all the reports about, the script and Blade being 4th lead in his own film and all that. Look, I find it very hard to get excited for anything MCU, and Fantastic Four is the same way. I don't No casting is gonna fix that for me. I just have to see if all their all their announcements of, well, we've changed for the better. We've made the decision to clean up our act. I'm paraphrasing everything. None of that is what they actually said, but it's what they implied. And so until I see the results of that, I can't bring myself to get excited about anything they announce. DC all the way. I'm on a DC high. Um, Next up, we have Francis Ford Coppola, one of the most iconic directors probably ever. One of the most iconic directors ever, and he's got his new movie coming out. And I don't know if that's a this year film. I don't know that it has a release date yet. It might now, but it's called Megalopolis. And again, this is another one. I don't know anything about it. Um, it's got Adam Driver, who is someone I really enjoy. I hate what again Disney is the common denominator here. I hate what Star Wars did to Adam Driver. I think he's a fantastic actor who has, in my opinion, he's more than proven that he's capable of handling a project. And so you got Adam Driver, you got Forrest Whitaker. Uh, Again, I don't know how to say these names, man. Nathalie Emmanuel, it's the Game of Thrones chick. She did the vampire movie from 2022, the Invitation one. Um, Lawrence Fishburne, John Voight, Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, Dustin Hoffman, like the Giancarlo Esposito. I mean, this is an ensemble cast, and it's Francis Ford Coppola, and I don't know what it's supposed to be. I just know it's called Megalopolis, and I probably could learn more about it, but again, it's one of those where it's like I'd prefer just not to know. I prefer to go in and see it blind, and so that's what I'm gonna do. But it's very interesting to say the least. I don't know if it's had a release date. What am I saying right now? I don't know if it's had a release date announced yet, but we'll see. I'll let you know when it does. If it and maybe it already has. Um. Oh yeah. Speaking of Fantastic Four and DC, I said it a while ago. They apparently have kind of they've slated Fantastic Four to be coming out in July of next year, which is when Superman Legacy is supposed to come out. Which means it's going to be Marvel versus DC for the month of July. Now I don't know exactly the dates. If I was looking at it, it'd be a different story. But right now, it's just, all I'm seeing is July, and so on these notes here, so I probably should take better notes. But look, um, if it comes down to it, I'd much prefer DC. I much prefer DC every time. But look, we'll see. I hope both of them do good. But if it came down to, you have two blockbuster superhero films of the two titans you have a titan of superheroes with Superman, but then you have the titan of the brand in MCU, and they're going at it for the month of July. Um, Look, if it means one's taken away from the other, I really hope Fantastic Four doesn't steal away from Superman Legacy. I hope they both do good. If they are good, I don't want it to do good if it's not good. Um, but look, if Fantastic Four, maybe I'm wrong, and Fantastic Four is great. Um, and I hope it is, then I hope it succeeds. And Superman Legacy, I'm really hoping succeeds because I'd love for the DCU to get up and running. You know, like I said, I'm a DC guy, and I love DC, and I love what James Gunn has planned for DC, and just all the things he's announced. I'm excited for all of it, and so it very much hinges on whether or not Superman Legacy is successful. And so I hope it is, and it's gonna come down to it's gonna be DC versus Marvel for the month of July. So hopefully we get good stuff. Here's another one. This one I found pretty interesting. Talking about Joker 2, which comes out this year. Again, one of my most anticipated movies. Now I talked about it last time, and one of the things that everybody has kind of had their reservations about Joker 2 is that is that it was a musical. That was something that got announced very early on. It's going to be a musical. Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn and stuff. And that was something that everybody said, "No, no, we don't want a musical. This sucks." And it just come out the cinematographer um Lawrence Sher, I guess is how you say the name, said the film is not a musical. It just has music in it. So I think my original prediction from my most anticipated video might be right, where I said I didn't expect an actual full on musical. I expected it more to be, when we get inside of Harley Quinn's head, what she sees, and she sees things as a musical, kind of like we got in Birds of Prey or in James Gunn's Suicide Squad, where you see that everything in her mind. Birds of Prey. I mentioned one of my favorite scenes in Birds of Prey is the diamonds are a girl's best friend scene where she's being tortured, and we get to see inside her mind, and she's being tortured and under all this pain, and her method of coping with that is just reverting into herself, and she's just it's a musical. You see her and she diamonds are a girl's best friend. And she's shooting her guns and stuff, and it's a very Harley Quinn musical. You get the same thing in the Suicide Squad, where her escape is very heightened and very cartoony, and there's the music is playing, and there's flowers and colors and stuff going everywhere, and she's dancing around and stuff. It's very heightened. And so that was one thing I said in my most anticipated, talking about the musical aspect of Joker's 2, or Joker 2, was that I don't expect it to be a full-on musical. I expected it to be just Harley Quinn. And now with the cinematographer saying it's not a musical, it just has some musical segments in it, that leads me to think that maybe I was right, you know, about, maybe it is just, you know, a couple of scenes where we get to see how Harley is processing information, how she thinks about information, and we'll get to see Lady Gaga just kill it, you know, singing whatever song they have for her. So, for the people who were, no, Joker 2 is going to be a musical that sucks. Well, you can rest easy now. It's not going to be a musical. And for the people who were interested, well, hey, look, it's interesting to me. I think this is crazy interesting, and I can't wait. Like I said, it's I think the top 3, I think it's either 3 or 4, third or fourth on my most anticipated list of the year out of like 20 movies. So, I'm very interested, very excited for it. And this is great news for me. I'm not a huge musical fan, but I was willing. I was like, you know what? If that's what they see for it, I'm willing to give it a shot. And so knowing that it's kind of a hybrid where it's not really a musical, but it's going to have music stuff, that's even more exciting for me. So yeah. Um Here's a weird one. You have Park Chan Wook's, getting these names, man. The Sympathizer, which is going to premiere on April 14th on HBO. I don't know. I think it's a series, but it's starring Robert Downey Jr., Robert Downey Jr., Robert Downey Jr., and Robert Downey Jr. I mean, he's playing. It looks like 4 different characters, 4 different you know, ethnicities where it's requiring all kinds of makeup and prosthetics and stuff. And I'm assuming it's going to be four different voices and accents and stuff. Look, Robert Downey Jr. has done it before. We've seen him. The guy can act. He is so much more than Tony Stark, even though Tony Stark is probably he is my favorite character in all of the MCU. He's so much more than that. If you watch, movies like The Judge, where he's tackling more dramatic, or something like Natural Born Killers, where he's Australian and he's kind of snarky and cowardly a little bit, and then you get something like Tropic Thunder, where he's flexing his comedic chops, and he's a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude, and so you get we've seen him do this before. We've seen him show these chops, and here's just another opportunity for him to really just get to flex his acting chops. Yeah, it's called The Sympathizer, April 14th on HBO. Definitely be on the lookout for that one. I'm super interested. Look, it looks if you see the pictures that, and of course, I got it from Discussing Film over on Twitter or X. And if you've seen the pictures and stuff they posted from it, it looks really funny because you've just got Robert Downey just disappearing into all these different looks. Really cool. Let's see here. I mean, we got a new thriller with Scott Adkins. That's. I mean, I'm a huge Scott Adkins fan. In my opinion, he's one of the greatest martial artists. Stunt martial arts actors, whatever you want to call it, working today. Um, I think he's highly underrated. I wish he would get some more mainstream stuff. He's kind of the king of straight to video, direct to video action. You have the Hitman, yeah, the you had the Hitman's Holiday, movies, and you had, obviously, he's known for Boyka and all this stuff, and Debt Collectors, which both of those is two of some of my favorites. Avengement is one of my favorite action movies of all time, and so the guy is just he's the king of direct to video action, and he's got another one coming out. I don't know that it even has a name yet. It just knows it's oh, it's called Take Cover. That's what it is. Take Cover. It's about Scott Adkins, and he is a sniper. He's a hitman, and he's trapped in a penthouse by another. It looks like it's going to be like a sniper versus a sniper type thing, where they're facing off. Let's see. You have Neon Studios is just really popping off right now. They have several horror films coming out. You have Immaculate, which is the Sydney Sweeney as a nun, which is kind of funny. But you have Sydney Sweeney as a nun. And again, I'm not gonna have much to say about any of these because I avoid everything. Um, but that drops on March 22nd. Yeah, Immaculate. You have the Cuckoo, I think is how you say it, Cuckoo or Cuckoo, however you want to say it, is dropping on May 3rd. That one, I think, if I remember right, it was supposed to come out last year, and it got a ton of hype last year because it was one that I was looking for all year, and it was just, you gotta watch this, you gotta watch this, you gotta watch this, and it did never come out, and then I found out that it got pushed, and if I'm remembering the right film, it got pushed to this year, and so it's actually going to be coming out on May 3rd this year, and so I'm very excited about it. It's got a lot of hype for me because it got so hyped up and then it got delayed, so it's like the hype is just, it's like a rubber band when you just keep stretching it. It just keeps getting tighter and tighter. That's kind of how the hype is on this one for me. It's like the longer I'm waiting, the more excited I am for it. I hope it's great. And then you got Long Legs, um, for July 12th. Look, I've talked about Long Legs. It's on my most anticipated list. Look, I'm super excited. I think it's great. I know it stars Nick Cage. Um, I don't know anything else about it. I watched that teaser, and actually, I think I played the teaser on here, for whatever video that was. And look, I'm super excited. I think it looks great. I It's very intriguing, and I just hope they stick the landing. That's three different neon horror films dropping. You got March, May, in July. And so be on the lookout for those. It's good stuff. Hopefully. Um, you got the rumor that Henry Cavill's been offered the role as a villain in the MCU. Um, Supposedly he accepted. None of this is confirmed. This is all just rumored. But yeah, if it is true, very intriguing. Again, like I said, casting is not enough to get me hyped for a Marvel movie right now. I'm gonna need more. Really, I'm just gonna need proof that they've cleaned up their act. But I'm a huge Cavill fan, and he's kind of won a lot of goodwill for just being a guy who, he cares about the fans and he cares about the fans' perception of things. And so for him to sign on, if it's true, for him to sign on as to play a villain from Marvel, I have to believe that they're at least being faithful to the character, because I don't think he would have. He's kind of proven that he wouldn't have signed on if they weren't. You saw it with Witcher, you saw it with his, with Warhammer, how he approaches it, and just the way he, we've heard him. He's proven it, where he'll say, no, it's not. Passion is not a bad thing. It's these people in the talking about the fans, they care about these characters, and it's our job to bring them to life and be respectful to the characters that already have this following. And so he's proven that he's got that goodwill. So if he has, because like I said, it's a rumor, but if it's true and he has signed on to be a villain for Marvel, I have to believe that they are staying true to whatever that character is, because I don't think he would have signed on otherwise. At least not the way he's proven himself in the past. Um, Apparently, there's a live action Lilo and Stitch coming out. They've dropped a couple of first looks. It looks stupid. I'm not even gonna lie. This is to me this is such a bad idea. All of these are bad ideas. I hate just making a live action version of a cartoon. It's a bad idea. And Lilo and Stitch, of all of them, sounds extra bad. Look, we'll see. I hate to be the guy who judges the book by the cover, but it's kind of, it just sounds ridiculous. Um, we also have, this one is a I talked earlier about the guy who's been, and I'm not even going to try to say his name again. I don't want to butcher it again. The guy who's been slated to direct the Evil Dead spinoff. Um, he has a film coming out, and I think it's this year, called. I think it's called. What is it? Let me see. I got to make sure I'm saying it right. It's in another language. Infested, I think, is the English name of it. It's called Infested. It's got a Spanish name or a French name or whatever it is. And I don't know how to say it, so I'm not even gonna try. But yeah, it's a spider horror of some kind. Uh, I'm an arachnophobe big time, and the poster is really creepy. You have a shoe, and you have like a big spider crawling out of the shoe. Very creepy, very unnerving. I don't like spiders, and so it's probably going to be effective. I hope it is. And look, that's going to be our first look into this guy who, up till now, I don't think I've seen anything of his. And so it'll be like a first look and to kind of know what to expect with his take on Evil Dead. And then you have another spider horror film called Steam, which is from the director of a film called Wormwood. I don't know what that is, but for those of you out there who do, maybe you're super excited about that. Maybe you're, kind of cringing. I don't know. I don't know what to expect, but it's two spider horror films this year. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it's good. Um, let's see. I'm looking at. There's another. There's an action film, and I gotta see what it's called real fast. that is already out Land of Bad. Now, this is one that got put on my radar by one of my favorite reviewers, Sean Chandler. He went and saw it and posted a review of it, and I was listening to him talk about it, and I was like, "Wait, what is this? What is this? It's got like Russell Crowe. It's got both Hemsworth brothers, and I didn't hear anything about it. And apparently, I wasn't in the minority here. Nobody knew anything about it, and it sounds pretty good, you know. And Sean is a reviewer that I've come to really trust. You know, when he says something's good, a lot of times it's something that I'm really going to like, and vice versa. And he had a lot of fun with it. He said if you like the type of movie it is, which is just it's a standard action flick. Soldiers get trapped and they have to survive and escape. I'm all in. You know, it sounds cool. I wish I'd have known about it. It's not shown anywhere near me, so it's gonna have to be one of those films that I catch later on. But yeah, if now is the first time you're hearing about it, Land of Bad, then definitely check it out and see if it's shown anywhere near you, because it's not shown anywhere near me. Um, and then here's another one. This is one that has kind of been circulated a few times. I've heard this a few times, but it's with Nolan being back in the limelight after Oppenheimer and just really getting a lot of attention and a lot of hype. And he's been doing a lot of interviews and stuff. And in a recent one, he said it again. And this is something he said a couple of years ago. Because I think I remember seeing him say something like this after Tenet come out. And so he's reiterated it. He would love to make a horror film. And he's just looking for an exceptional idea. Those are his words. Look, I love Christopher Nolan. He's in my favorite directors of all time, as I've assumed most film lovers my age, around my age, are gonna say Christopher Nolan is kind of like our decade Spielberg. My generation Spielberg, I guess, would be a better way to say it. Um, I mean, you still have Spielberg, but he Spielberg doesn't pack the same punch for people my age or around my age the way he did for people in the 80s and the 90s, even in the early zeros. Whereas Nolan is kind of that guy for us. He's the guy that is just this cultural zeitgeist where every film we that Nolan drops, you got to check it out. It doesn't matter what it is, we got to watch it. And we have a few of those, and Nolan is one of them. And for him to tackle horror again, like I said, those are the two things. This channel, is kind of umbrella. I talk about horror, I talk about music, I talk about games, I talk about wait a second. I talk about movies, music, and games. I talk about all kinds of stuff on this channel. If there was like a specific genre, it would be horror and Batman. That's the two things. That's the two things. Horror and Batman. And the idea of Christopher Nolan tackling a horror film, it sounds great. I'd love to see it. Um, Ari Aster. So he's kind of one of the up and comers. You have Hereditary, you had Midsummer, and then this last year you had Beau is Afraid. Very unique director. He's carved out his own voice. He's got another film coming out, and as of right now, there are no details on it, but there is casting that's already been announced. It's called Eddington. I guess there is more about it, but I really don't want to read it. I want to kind of go in blind. That's what I did with Beau is Afraid. Let me tell you, that was interesting. You go in blind to Beau is Afraid. Um, but it's got Austin Butler, Joaquin Phoenix, and Emma Stone. So the acting talent's there. You have the directing talent and Ari Aster. The story, it's called Eddington. It says it follows a couple driving through New Mexico on their way to Los Angeles who run out of gas just outside of a small town in Eddington, New Mexico. Um, and then, yeah, I don't want to read any more about it. Also, and this is kind of like a bonus. I didn't even know this. Say there, got to be a better note taker. um, Austin Butler is also in talks to star in Darren Aronofsky's new film, whatever it is, whatever his next movie is. Um, Yeah, I'm excited. Ari Aster, whether I love his films or not, which so far I haven't really loved any of them, even Hereditary, which again is one that blew up and was huge. Everything gets compared to Hereditary now. It's a movie I watched it. I appreciated a lot of what it did. I think a lot of it was great. It wasn't a film that resonated a whole lot with me. I was like, okay, that was good. It's creepy. It had some great scenes in it, some awesome scares, some shocking moments for sure. Is good. It wasn't the huge cultural behemoth for me like it was for so many other people. Midsummer, I liked it less than Hereditary as I'd assume most people. To me, it's too long. It feels a little too overindulgent, even though I love a lot of the things that happen. A lot of the ways that he tells the story is really good. It's just and Florence Pugh is in my opinion one of the best actresses working today. But it's too long and stuff. But I appreciated it still. Bo is Afraid, very interesting movie. A lot of cool ideas, a lot of cool execution. Again, kind of like I said with Midsummer, it's too long, a little too overindulgent, but I liked it a lot more. I found it a lot more entertaining for me than Midsummer. Um, I look either way. Like I said, I don't love any of his films, but he's one of those directors that no matter what he does now, I'm gonna be interested in because he's got a unique voice and he has his own way of telling stories and yeah, he needs a hug. He definitely needs a hug. Um, he's definitely got a mother problem, but 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 yeah, but I'm interested. I can't wait for it to release, even though you know if it's just an average of his other films, I'll think it's good and I'll kind of enjoy it. It won't be groundbreaking for me or anything, but even then, I know it's going to be interesting either way. And then Darren Aronofsky, I love Darren Aronofsky. And he's kind of the same way. Half Darren Aronofsky's half, and he's kind of like Shyamalan for me, where there are a lot of films that I don't like. There's Shyamalan films that I don't like. I don't like After Earth at all. I pretty much hate After Earth. The Last Airbender. Again, I loved it as a kid. I refuse to rewatch it now. So I can't really uh, fairly give it a score. I guess you could say. I'm not a fan of The Happening. I think it's hilarious, but I'm still not a fan of it. Old was very disappointing and pretty egregious. But the films that I love, the films that I like and love by Shyamalan are films that I really, really like and love. Some of my favorite movies of all time. One of my favorite, it is my favorite movie of all time, and Signs. And I kind of feel the same way about Aronofsky. He has movies that I hate completely. I hate Noah. Noah was a terrible movie for me. I did not like it at all. I really, really did not like. I'm trying to think. He's had 8 movies. I'm trying to think of what they all were. Either way, he's got another one, and it'll come to me as soon as I move on. I'll think of it. But then the films by Aronofsky that I love, The Wrestler, Black Swan, they're fantastic, and they're some of my favorites of all time. And so again, he's kind of like that, where no matter what Aronofsky does, I'm going to be interested. He's got enough goodwill with me where no matter what he releases, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna be interested in it, whether I hate it or love it. Who knows? Um, I feel like everything I just said was very illiterate. I didn't really hear. I didn't really hear how anything I said come out, but it just feels like in hindsight that nothing I said made sense. Um, the Penguin Show. It's done filming. I'm so excited. I'm ready to get more from this world, this Reeves verse. I can't wait. And I assume we'll probably it finished filming probably a week ago, I think. And I'm not even a week ago. Well, I'd say a week ago it was announced. that it was done filming, and I hope to expect it by the fall sometime, if not sooner. But for sure, like around fall. Again, birthday. Come on, get me a birthday present. I'm so excited. I think it's gonna be great. I love the direction that they're heading with it. From what I've seen, Colin Farrell was brilliant. One of the best parts of a perfect movie for me. Um, and I'm excited to see what they bring, and I'm really fingers crossed. I'd love to see, and this is just wishful thinking. I'd love to see Bruce Wayne, not Batman. Maybe hear about Batman. I'd like them to kind of mythologize Batman a little bit in in the show where it's just like, oh, he's this mythological figure of vengeance and hope, and criminals are afraid of him like we see. I'd love to see more of that criminal POV for the Penguin show when it comes to Batman, but I don't want to see Batman, but I'd like to see Bruce Wayne. And like I said, this is just wishful thinking. I'd like to see Pattinson's Bruce Wayne start to bloom a little bit in the show. One of the reasons for that is if they kind of bloom and develop his Bruce Wayne in the show a little more, where I'm not saying he has to be in it every episode, but if you just see him a few times, like one or two times, and he's really and you see the growth that he's gone through where now he's become a more public figure, and you could say the destruction of Gotham has brought Bruce Wayne out of his shell and brought him out of his depression to you know, rebuild the city. And I'd love to see that side of Bruce Wayne. So by the time the Batman 2 hits in what is it, October of next year, we can just get we can already hit the ground running. That would be great. Well, you wouldn't have to spend that time in the film having to develop all these things that you could have already had done here. I hope so. It's wishful thinking. I'm gonna love it either way. I say that unless it's terrible, which I'm gonna go ahead and knock because that's not gonna happen. It can't be bad. It has to be good. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm it. Look, it's my most anticipated movie probably ever. In the Batman 2, this Reeves verse is so there's so much potential here, and so I'm excited for anything we get. And the Penguin series is one of them. You got Moana 2 just recently dropped a trailer. I or a teaser, I think. I don't think it dropped the full trailer, but they definitely dropped the teaser. Oh, okay. They also that's another one where they have a live action, you know, remake coming out where it's just why? Why? What's the point in having a live action Moana? What's the point? If you can't tell me what a live action version will provide that the animated film didn't already provide, then you shouldn't be making it. And I'd love for someone to tell me otherwise, and then I could possibly get excited for it. But as is, I really don't care. I really don't care about the sequel either. I'm kind of done with Disney animation too. I like Moana a lot. I thought it was really good, but I'm just burnt out on Disney's animation. Disney and Pixar, both of them. I'm really burnt out. I talked about it a little bit in the last video when I was talking. Well, it's the Super Bowl video. Um, and look, I don't care. That's the thing. The Cohen brothers, aside from Driveway Dolls, which come out today, are reuniting because they kind of split and did their own thing. Where you had Ethan Cohen, which I think Driveway Dolls is an Ethan Cohen movie, and Joel did some. I can't remember which did which. One of them did the um the Denzel movie. What was it? I can't remember. What they split and kind of started doing their own solo things. Well, apparently now they're reuniting to do a horror film. A Cohen directed horror film. Let's go, dog. I'm excited for that one a lot. A lot. I love the Cohen brothers. Alex Garland's Civil War dropped the new trailer. I don't know how you feel about it. I'm kind of half and half. I think it has the potential to be good. I also think it has the potential to be garbage. I'm not an Alex Garland fan. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. I'm half and half, like I said, one way or the other. I didn't watch the trailer. I don't want it to be spoiled. The concept is interesting. Um, we'll see. We'll see how it handles the political overtones. It's not undertones. We'll see how he approaches the political aspect of it. That's going to be an interesting fallout. Borderlands trailer just dropped. I did watch the trailer for this one because this is one where I was just I won't say that I was disinterested, but I was kind of again I was in between on it. And look, I think it looks like it could be fun. I'm not overly optimistic for it to be good. As a matter of fact, the more when I watched the trailer, I was thinking this kind of looks like it's going to be Jumanji, like Jumanji next level type stuff. The humor kind of felt the same. It looks like an attempt to be a James Gunn type film, and look, without James Gunn behind the wheel, we'll see how well they get. Well, we'll see how close they get. The source material's cool. I hope they pull it off. Um, I think the trailer looks fun. I'm not overly optimistic for it to be all that great. Um, yeah, I talked about stop motion. Let me see. Doesn't say it in theaters Friday. I don't know. It's supposed to come to Shutter at some point too. I was hoping that I had it in my notes there, but um, speaking of Superman Legacy from earlier, apparently a lot of the filming for Superman Legacy is going to be taking place in Cleveland, Ohio. Oos, 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 oos. Represent. I don't live in Cleveland, but I'm close. I'd like to live in Cleveland. It's something for the future. But yeah, maybe I'll pop on over and try to be an extra. That would be fun. Yeah, that was just some exciting news out of nowhere. Um, I talked about the Jurassic World movies earlier. They announced Jurassic World 4. Honestly, I think it's a dumb idea to continue the Jurassic World continuity. I hate it. Like I said, I liked Jurassic World, the first one. The second one I thought was laughably bad. Outside of the one scene where that new breed of raptor gets loose in the mansion, that's pretty cool. And I like Ted Levine. I always like seeing Ted Levine pop up everywhere. That was it. And then Dominion was absolute garbage. One of the worst films of that year. I think that was 22. One of the worst films of the year. Absolute terrible film. And so for them to say, all right, we're making a part four that picks up after Dominion, really dumb. Really, really dumb. The thing is, it's not just me that said that. I think it was pretty universal, no pun intended, that everyone hated Dominion. There were very few people that I think liked it. I could be wrong. It could just be the circle of the internet I'm in, but I'm telling you, it wasn't very highly praised. And so for them to just say, "All right, we're gonna pick back up, where we left off and keep going," I don't like the idea. I think they should have just started something new. Give us a give us the horror Jurassic Park from the novel that everybody's always geeking about on TikTok. Give us that Jurassic Park movie. I'd get behind that. Um, Either way, they're picking up with Jurassic World 5 or 4, Jurassic World 4. It's supposed to come out next July. So again, another blockbuster for July of next year. Um, and look, I'm the while the story itself doesn't get me excited, they announced it yesterday, or no, it was 2 days ago. They announced it 2 days ago, so it would have been Tuesday, that Gareth Edwards. I always get the two names mixed up. Gareth Edwards, the guy who directed Rogue One, and the creator from last year, has been slated to helm the new Jurassic World. Now, all the negative stuff I just said about Jurassic World still stands. I think it's a terrible idea to keep going on this continuity. I think it's a terrible idea to keep it in the same vibe of the others. But Gareth Edwards has proven that he can direct a crazy good blockbuster with very little. I say very little, relatively little. Where you compare it to other blockbusters, he gets a lot of mileage out of fractions of budgets. You know, I think The Creator got reported at an $80 million budget, which is no small budget by any means. But when you compare it to something like Indiana Jones 5 that come out last year, which was absolutely abysmal, and it got it was like a $300 million budget, not including the marketing and everything. And so you look at that and you see how horrible, abysmal, and dreadful that product was, and then you look at Gareth Edwards, where despite what you felt about The Creator itself, like the story and stuff, on a technical level where the budget went, it was phenomenal what he was able to accomplish with that kind of budget. And you see, like, he created worlds, this sci-fi world where there's robots and aliens and all the sci-fi stuff that's going on, all this cool, this just really cool stuff that he created here, and he did it for a fraction of what these other blockbusters are doing and getting terrible results. And so when you take that guy who's able to get all that mileage with his resources and you put him behind the camera and put him in charge of getting the product made for a Jurassic World movie, it's dinosaurs and stuff, that has me intrigued. I still think it's a terrible idea to continue in the continuity, but you put someone like Gareth Edwards behind the camera, someone who has proven that they know how to handle a blockbuster and can, like I said, get a lot of mileage out of their resources. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that he can make something good. Is it going to be enough to change my opinion on the franchise? Doubtful. But could he make the best of the franchise? Absolutely. It's a very low bar. He absolutely could make the best of the franchise. And so I wouldn't say I'm excited for it. I wouldn't go as far as to say it I'm excited. But I will say I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt now. You got Imaginary is going to be coming out within the next couple of weeks, March 8th. It's I think it's Blumhouse horror film with the imaginary friend, the bear, and it's telling the little girl to do things. It's mad about the move and stuff. Look, I talked about it in one of my previous videos where I said, look, I hope it's great. To me, and I didn't watch the trailer. I watched the little teaser that they first dropped, and I said, okay, that's all I need to see. I don't need to see anything else. So I don't know. Maybe this has changed, but from just the first little teaser that I watched, it comes across as being just another Blumhouse throwaway horror film. It comes across like Megan, just not Megan, you know. And Megan wasn't even amazing. Megan was fun, but that's how I kind of feel about this. It feels like a better version of Night Swim. It feels like just a Blumhouse horror film, not one of the great ones. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's great. I really do. I'm rooting for every film that I've mentioned today. But look, I just can't get excited about it. But it comes out March 8th. I'll be there. I'll be there to see it. Um and you had this one. This is a rumor. But this is a rumor that I think has the most potential of all the rumors I've mentioned. I think this one has the most potential of being true. And this one kind of hurts a little bit. So the rumor is that Andy Muschietti is out as for directing Brave and the Bold, which for those of you who don't know is the DCU, almost called it DCE, the DCU's Batman. It's supposed to come out Batman Brave and the Bold, and that was going to be our introduction to Batman in James Gunn's DC universe. And Andy Muschietti, previously known for It, 2017, He also did The Flash, but you can't really completely attribute The Flash to him. He was slated to direct, and I was excited. I was like, "Look, I want a horror director to be doing Batman. I want it to be a horror director." Matt Reeves, kind of. You had Cloverfield, which is kind of like it's a kaiju horror found footage. You had Let the Right One In or Let Me In, whichever one it was. There's two versions of it. Whichever one Matt Reeves did is kind of like a weird horror drama. Um, and so Matt Reeves is kind of a horror director in a way, and he knocked it out of the park with Batman. And so Andy Muschietti being a horror, a more overtly horror director. I mean, it 2017. I mean, look, I mean, it is on the nose. He's blatant horror. I was excited, and then you see how he handled Batman in the Flash. No matter how you feel about the Flash, he killed it with how he directed Michael Keaton's Batman. The scene where they break into that Russian bunker to save what they thought was Superman is, in my opinion, it's the best scene of the whole film. The best sequence. The ride there where they're in the ship and they drop down, when they break in, when they escape, they fight their way out. All of that is the best sequence of the whole film for me. And the way he shot Batman and the way he kind of injected a little bit of that humor into Batman, where you have uh, him him jumping at the little Russian scientist trying to make the guy flinch and run away, and it wasn't working. He goes for it twice, and hilarious stuff. Him when they jump up on the little lift, and he puts the explosive on the bottom, and it's all this build up, build up, build up. Music stops, it crash in on his hands, and he pulls out a little tape measure. Hilarious. Little stuff like that is perfect blend of Batman humor with while not making him a joke the way Joss Whedon did. It had some funny stuff, but he was still awesome. You watch where he's tossing the batarangs and he's kicking and he's throwing people through windows and stuff, and he's jumping over and he's expanding the cape to catch all the bullets. He's awesome, but he still has that little bit of humor, and you see that, and then Andy Muschietti's horror background, and it's like, yes, that is great, great, a great pick to direct Batman, especially a more fantastical Batman where it's gonna, have the Bat family and possibly the League of Assassins. Nolan ruined me, man. I always I always say Ra's al Ghul too instead of Raish. Thanks a lot, Nolan. Uh, but you have this Batman that's going to be introducing that fantastical element. Andy Muschietti was perfect, and so now supposedly he's out. This is a rumor, but it's a very heartbreaking rumor if it's true. He's out, and I was wanting to look. This is what the post said, and this is why it's so extra it makes me extra nervous. Is because you had it said to have been taken off the project with Warner Brothers re-examining what they want to do with Batman. This is what I'm talking about. This right here. Again, it's just a rumor. It's not been proven yet. And honestly, I've been holding back. I don't believe anything until James Gunn addresses it, and most of the time it's on Threads. So this one here, I'm giving it a grain of salt, but this is a very painful grain of salt because if that's true, let's just assume all of this is true. That means already Warner Brothers is tinkering with DC again. Before Superman has even come out, they haven't even I think they just I don't even know if they've started filming. James Gunn just posted today that they did their first table read. So they haven't even started filming Superman yet. And if this is true, this is just assuming this is true. That means Warner Brothers is already tinkering and saying, wait a second, well, Matt Reeves' Batman comes out in 2025. We don't want two Batman, we don't want two separate Batman going at the same time. So let's start changing things. Let's change things about Brave and the Bold before it's even before Superman has even started filming. I don't even think I think Brave and the Bold was supposed to be 2000 or 26, 2026 or 2027 or something like that. It wasn't right after Superman. I know that. And Superman's in July. We probably wasn't going to see Brave and the Bold till late 26 or 27. So for them to already, again, this is just assuming the rumor's true, for them to already be tinkering with it and saying, well, we need to change this. We're nervous about this. It makes it kind of makes my blood boil a little bit. This is exactly the problem that we had the last time where Man of Steel come out and instead of letting the things play out the way Zack Snyder had originally planned, they started tinkering because they got cold feet on things. They changed their mind on things before it had even happened, and they changed it. And because of that, they butchered the universe, which I think could have been amazing. It probably would have ended like in let's see, it would have started. It started in 2013. It probably would have ended last year. That's probably would have been the end of the DCEU, anyways, or whenever Flash was originally. It probably would have ended. We would have got Man of Steel 1 and 2, maybe a 3. We would have got Batman, uh, Ben Affleck's Batman movie. Obviously, you had 2 or 3 Wonder Woman movies that would have come out. You had 3 Justice League films that were already announced. You had Aquaman, and then you had Flash. All of these things that were announced, and something with lanterns. There's always, I don't know all the projects that was going to be coming out for DCEU. You had all this stuff, and Warner Brothers got cold feet so early on, and they started changing things, and they butchered it. And for 10 years, DC struggled, and it got worse and worse, worse and worse. You had Man of Steel, which got it did good, but you had people who was like, oh, I don't know, I'm not really into this yet, which was fine. Let people be skeptical. Let people be skeptical. And then you had them change stuff around. And then you had BVS, which they tinkered with. And I mean, obviously, you know how I feel. I love Batman versus Superman. It's my favorite of the DCEU. It's one of my favorite superhero films of all time. You can fight me on that in a different video. You had that one, and even I, someone who loves that movie, can admit that Warner Brothers butchered it. Even with the movie being a result that I love, I can still tell you it was butchered, and it probably would have been so much better had it gone the way it was supposed to go. Justice League would have been, it would have come out the way it was supposed to come out the first time. You would have had the other 2 Justice League films. Everything would have wrapped up nicely. Flash would have restarted, and we could be kicking off DCU, it could be smooth. Doing whatever would have come out after that. But Warner Brothers got cold feet. Warner Brothers started second guessing and tinkering, and they ruined it. Everything that's happened since 2016 and a little bit before that, Warner Brothers ruined it. It wasn't fans. Fans eventually became a problem where I can't stand DC fans. DC fans, I hate almost as much as Star Wars fans. No, I hate DC fans more than Star Wars fans. So the fans definitely became a problem, but it all started because of Warner Brothers. And if this is true, that they already made changes to Brave and the Bold because of fear, because of second guessing, then I am royally ticked off. Just going in. I'm so mad. Why? This is called not learning a lesson. That's what that's called. Um, yes, rant over. Again, all of that's a rumor. It could be false. Who knows? James Gunn may post on Threads and say this is completely false. I don't know where you're getting your information. It's possible. But if it's true, then I'm really gonna be upset. I'm really gonna be upset. That just shows they didn't learn anything. Anyways, for all my gamers out there, so I do a lot of gaming, especially you on Twitch. YouTube. You've seen a few game stuff, but not as much. Um, I am. Uh, I love game. I love gaming and stuff, and Elden Ring is one of my favorite games to come out probably ever. I loved Elden Ring. I sunk hundreds of hours into Elden Ring, and it just got announced for yesterday. They just announced that the DLC Shadow of the Erd Tree, the trailer is supposed to drop today. It may have already dropped and I just haven't seen it. So go look for it right now. Shadow of the Erd Tree. I'm saying that wrong, but it is what it is. Um, yeah, I love Elden Ring, and I've been waiting on some new stuff to drop for it, so I can't wait. And then yeah, this is a pretty funny one. So yeah, Alan Ritchson, uh, known as Reacher. He's also one of the top picks in terms of fan casting to play Batman for Brave and the Bold. Don't get me started on it again. um, he has a film coming out now where I think they're supposed to start filming next month, where it's him and Kevin James in an action comedy film called Playdate. Um, did anyone have that on their bingo card? Reacher and Mall Cop in an action comedy together. I didn't. Um, look, Alan Richson is I'm kind of new to Alan Richson a lot. I mean, he was in Smallville. Um, he played Aquaman in Smallville. Spoilers. He was in obviously Reacher, and he's done some other films, but for the most part, he's kind of new to me. I don't really know him in a lot. And then you have Kevin James, who has done a ton of stuff. Some stuff I grew up with. I grew up on Mall Cop and Here Comes the Boom and movies like that, and King of Queens. Um, I think he's very funny. I think even in his bad movies, he's the best part. Um, and so for pairing the two up, which is such an odd pairing, but you get Kevin James and Alan Richardson together to do an action comedy, I'm all in. I'm excited. Is it going to be highbrow cinema? Probably not. But I can guarantee Kevin James is probably going to make me laugh a few times. There's probably going to be some cool action with Richardson just absolutely brute forcing whatever their enemy is in the movie. And look, I'm excited. Um, you got Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman series that is on Netflix. They dropped the trailer for it today, and it's going to be on Netflix March 7th. I really liked the Gentleman series or the Gentleman movie. Matthew McConaughey and a stacked cast, and really cool movie with a fun little twist. It's got Guy Ritchie's style. I'm a big fan of Guy Ritchie, and he's got his series coming out. So be on the lookout next month, couple weeks for 2 weeks actually for the Gentleman series. The trailer's out today though, so if you're someone who likes watching trailers, you can go check that out. Let's see. Um, yeah, I already said that James Gunn did the first table read and everything for Superman Legacy. Super exciting. Got the cast all together. Yeah, nothing much to say about that. You also have Ryan Coogler, who did Creed. He's the Creed director. He also directed Black Panther. He is teaming up with Michael B. Jordan to do a vampire movie, and it's described as having undead 1930s setting with anime influences. Very interesting. It's a vampire movie. Look, we need more vampire movies. I've heard people say it all the time, and I'm inclined to agree. Twilight killed the vampire movie. Um, where you had Twilight come out, and that's what vampires became. Is just the heartthrob, the gloomy, pale, rich guy who's super romantic and everything, and but he's a vampire. It's the love interest. Yeah, Twilight ruined vampires, and so here within the last little bit, it seems like we're getting a little bit of a vampire resurgence. As much as I was disappointed in it, you had Renfield, which was very popular. You had Last Voyage of Demeter and everything from last year, which uh was pretty popular and everything. So maybe we're getting a little bit of a resurgence for vampire stuff. Like I think vampires are always a really cool concept, and so look, you're never gonna hear me complain. What is really interesting is the 30s setting with anime influences. That's really cool. You heard Coogler and Michael B. Jordan talk about anime before, especially Michael B. Jordan, and when he directed Creed 3, he talked about relying a lot on anime in how he shot the fight scenes. And you could see it, in the way the camera worked, the way there was zooms and stuff. So he's already done it before, so I'm interested to see how that applies to a 30s vampire film. And I think that is everything for today. Yep. So that is all the news for today. I'm going to go ahead and sign off because I have got somewhere to be. And so, look, a lot of stuff has been announced. Look, I'm sorry that everything that I have planned is getting pushed off and pushed off. My Matthew Vaughn ranking, my Cohen Brothers ranking, just the new releases and stuff. Everything is getting delayed. I have another tier list that I'm excited to do that keeps getting delayed due to other stuff that's going on. And hopefully everything evens out within the next week or so. And everything will start to get back on a rhythm, on a groove. But until then, you already know how it is. Y'all stay sweet. And in case I don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, and good